Want me to step back a little?
Sure. Now, Congressman West, Kevin Martin with Big Journalism, BigGovernment.com, here with Congressman Allen West,
Yeah.
great congressman from the state of Florida.
Well, I thank you for that.
Congressman West, have a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
The president today unveiled his $1.5 trillion tax hike
Yeah.
for what he says wealthy Americans. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that, we kind of already knew that the president has socialist tendencies because he believes in nationalizing production and expanding the welfare state. But now it seems that he does have Marxist tendencies because he really is engaging in class warfare. When you look at these top 1% of wage earners in the United States of America paying 38% of federal income taxes, the top 5% that pays close to 58% of federal income taxes, and the top 25% of wage earners in the United States of America paying 86% of federal income taxes. But yet, you have a 47% of wage earning households in this country that do not pay federal income taxes. So who needs to pay their fair share? So I think that what the president is doing, once again, in a very brilliant campaign speech, which really was kind of undignified, is just trying to create more divisiveness in this country and separate us within ourselves. And he's going after the people that are the job creators. Now, I don't know if the millionaires and billionaires include the entertainment elite and the sports elite,
Yeah,
or the
his
people
friends.
his friends at his concerts and dinners, or the folks he hangs out with at Martha's Vineyard. But I'm very concerned if you start to penalize the people who are out there trying to promote the free market and the free enterprise and grow our private sector. What's going to happen to the unemployment rate? What's going to happen to real investment, ingenuity, and innovation in America?
Now, Congressman, I have one other question for you. You are a member of the Tea Party. You were elected in the Tea Party wave in 2010.
Yep.
You're also a member of the CBC.
Yep.
Now, the CBC has been saying some real controversial things about the Tea
Kind of
Party.
off the wall stuff.
Off the wall. But then you had Congressman Clyver from Missouri.
Congressman Cleaver.
Cleaver, thank
Yeah,
you,
the
sir.
chairman. Yeah.
Yes. He also said, well, if Obama wasn't black, they would be marching. Now, if you're blaming the Tea Party on one side for causing a failure of the president's policies, but saying the only reason you're not marching is he's black, what is that saying?
Well, that's racist in nature. And, I've already had that discussion with the chairman with some of the comments that were made, being Frederica Wilson, Maxine Waters, and Andre Carson. The great thing about who I am and where I'm sitting right now is that I will bring constitutional conservatism into the Congressional Black Caucus.
And we thank you for that.
Well, that's an important thing for us to have that voice that is there, because I think you're seeing a growing number of black conservatives in the United States of America. It's irregardless of party, but understanding those true principles of governance that will promote the economic and job growth in our community as well as all across this country. So it's good to be able to work from within instead of working from without, where you can just be seen as irrelevant and not really having an impact.
Okay, now with that being said, we recently had some victories in New York's 9th District.
Huge victory.
A huge victory.
Absolutely.
And as well as Nevada's 2nd. Do you honestly think that after more than 3 years, almost 3 years, that the country is kind of, as George Will said on This Week yesterday, the Tea Party seems to be the establishment now. After being beat up by the press, called every name in the book, now he's kind of saying, okay, well, these guys are going out and winning elections in districts that we thought were safe.
Well, the thing is, you look at this constitutional conservative grassroots movement that really is talking about fiscal responsibility, that is talking about efficient constitutional government, free market and free enterprise, and our national security. What American would not want to agree with those, very basic core principles? And that's what the Tea Party stands for. And I think that as long as they can continue to weather the onslaught that is going to come from the left, because their policies are failing. The president is failing. So all they can do is the Saul Alinsky Rule 13 tactic.
Keynesian economics.
And Keynesian economics is failing, but the Alinsky tactic is to find a target, isolate it, freeze it, and attack it or demonize it. As long as the Tea Party can sustain that, I think you're going to see once again an impact in 2020.
Now, you said the president's policies are failing. That was my next question. Do you think, your personal opinion, do you think this president is incapable? He's fired no one on his economic team.
Yeah.
They seem to be, okay, well, They want the wealthiest Americans who are succeeding to fund his felonies.
Yes.
Do you think he's incapable of changing? Do you think, will it take an election? I would think 2010 would give him reason to pause,
No.
but he doesn't seem to change.
Well, there are two things. First of all, you're dealing with a very rigid ideologue who is a liberal progressive socialist. He is not going to do as President Bill Clinton did after his midterm election and pivot. And the other thing is you got what you elected. You elected a person who had never run anything, never ran a lemonade stand, even as
no private sector experience.
No private sector experience, and therefore you have the exact same thing in that administration. It is the Woodrow Wilson administration part 2. It is the Jimmy Carter administration part 3. So you have these highly educated academics who really operate in the world of theory and not practicality and practical application. And this is what you get. When they draw numbers on the board, they say, well, they taught us that this Keynesian thing will work. It does not work, and it never worked.
It never will.
And even when you look back at case studies such as Japan, when they went into a recession in the 90s, and they tried 9 stimulus packages, and that's why economists call it the lost decade. Well, I don't want to see a lost decade for the United States economy, so that's why we got to stand up in front.
Now, I have 2 more questions for you, Congressman. Now, the last question will really get you with. But you're looking at, you're a Republican, I'm a conservative. You're looking at the Republican field. What do you see the strengths, and do you have any one candidate that you particularly like?
Well, not yet. I think right now you see 2 people emerging as front runners, without a doubt, Governors Perry and Romney. Will Governor Perry be able to withstand once again that scrutiny and onslaught that he's going to get for these 3 months? By the middle of November to the beginning of December, I think we'll start to see who is going to be the true front runner as we go forward. But when you listen to them and understand where they're coming from, we don't have a perfect candidate, but we definitely have something that's better than what we have sitting in the White House right now.
Okay, now here's a $1 million question for you. Now, you got a lot of supporters out there in the blogosphere, conservative sites, the whole 9. I remember talking to you myself when you were first running for office down in Florida. Now, let's say a Republican did win, or Republican got the nomination and vote. Would you consider serving as vice presidential candidate?
Oh man, look, right now I think the prevailing winds everyone is talking about, Marco Rubio being that VP. Florida's an important state, and I think the Hispanic vote, a lot of people are focused on that. And if that's what people want, I'll get behind whatever ticket. It would be very humbling if someone would have asked me to step up and take that position. I'd have to pray about it. I'd have to talk to the wife. But I'm always willing to serve my country. And,
yes, you are, like myself.
We'll just see what happens.
Now you say you're there with the vice president. What if they actually serve as Secretary of Defense or in the administration itself?
Well,
I know you're happy serving the people of your district in Florida.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you that if someone were to offer me what I think is the most prized position in the United States of America, to be the Secretary of Defense, to be the one responsible for protecting the American people and serving our men and women in uniform, now that would be something that would just blow me over. And that really would be a crown that I would love to accept.
Well, this old non-com himself, I wouldn't mind myself. But like I said, you've come to Washington, you've dealt with your fair share of arrows and things like that. You seem happy. You seem very comfortable here in Washington. Yeah. We're having a GOP Black Caucus event this evening. You seem very comfortable in Washington. But when you get back to the voters in your home district, what is the one concern that you hear them say? I mean, I'm looking at the polls. I see where people say 73% say we're on the wrong track.
Sure.
I really feel like President Obama's election was a feel-good moment in America.
It was.
We said we're going to be post-racial. We didn't look at the skin color, even though people tried to sell it. I really felt he wasn't vetted by the press.
No, he wasn't.
But he just seems to. He's now angry. I saw that today.
Well, what you have is an individual in his political career that has gotten everything that he wanted. He wanted to run for state senate. He was given that. He wanted to run for U.S. Senate. They've done many backdoor things with opening people's personal records and everything. So he got Senate. And then he comes along for president, and everyone says, you can't touch him. You can't say anything about it. And he gets president. So now he's sitting here saying, well, you guys are supposed to pass my bill. You're supposed to do what I say. That's not how it works. His first 2 years he was there, he had a
Rubber stamp Congress.
rubber stamp Congress, so why didn't they take care of a lot of these things as far as jobs and fixing our economy? No, they went off on their own liberal progressive agenda. And now all of a sudden he's lost the House, and he does not know how to contend with the fact that people are saying no. So I think that what you're seeing is a very frustrated president who has been given everything, and now he's starting to recognize the fact that he has to learn how to try to lead and govern,
Right.
but he's never had to.
Now, here's the last one. I promised you two more before this. This jobs bill, because you mentioned these things. He's out there screaming, pass it, pass it, pass it, pass it. I'm getting that whole feeling like you gotta, like Nancy Pelosi said when she was speaker, well, we gotta pass it to
the
learn
healthcare law,
what's in it.
Absolutely.
Right now, Congressman, and I know you're in that part of that strong wing of the Tea Party in Congress. This bill, even Democrats now, after they've lost the 9th district and lost Nevada,
They're running away from it.
they're running away from it, and it seems to have no chance in the House.
No, it has no chance, and really has no chance even over in the Senate. Now, are there some good parts into it? And it comes back to what you asked me previously. What are people saying to us down in the district? Well, it comes down to what I call the 3 C's. The first C is confidence. People have no confidence in the economic policies, the tax, the regulatory policies, or the monetary policies coming out of Washington, D.C. It's scaring the bejesus out of people, some of the things that are happening. And if there is no confidence, then there's not going to be true private sector growth and investment. The second thing is access to capital. Because of Dodd-Frank, a lot of our local small community banks are, really under the thumb of examiners and regulations, and they're not able to, do that lending to help these small businesses to grow. And the last thing is certainty. People don't know what's going to happen day to day. And until you can provide them that certainty, the free market is about risk. There's no doubt about it. But at least we need to negate or mitigate the uncertainty that comes out of government so that they can contend with the risk that they know they have to in their own respective profession.
Now, I finished asking the questions. The camera's yours. You can look at our readers at Big Journalism, Big Government, Big Peace, and just if there's something you want to say to them, give them your thoughts and things like that.
Well, what
Please.
I'd like to say is, first of all, thank you to Andrew Breitbart. You're doing phenomenal work, and I'm very pleased, very honored to be supportive of the things that you're doing and being one of the soldiers on the battlefield here in Washington, D.C. But what we have to all understand is that we're in a seminal fight for the future and the legacy of this constitutional republic that we know and love. It's the United States of America. And if the light that is America were to go out, then we will go into a new dark age. And I think we all must come to the recognition here in 2012 that this is going to be a tough fight. But we need each and every one of you out there on the battlefield in your respective areas to become a part of the process. Because I'll close by saying, Plato has a fantastic quote. Those who refuse to participate in politics shall be governed by their inferiors. Let's make sure that America is not governed by inferior leadership. So thank you, and God bless you all.
And Congressman, thank you for appearing on this impromptu interview.
No.
I know I asked you probably some tough questions, especially.
Nothing hard.
But we really, a lot of people on our website really like you, respect you, and I know Andrew does myself. And I kind of sent him a note saying, I'm going to this event tonight.
Sure.
Congressman West is going to be there, and
Absolutely.
he was really excited.
Awesome.
So we look forward to putting your comments up on the website. I hope I got your good side. You always have a good side.
I don't have a good side.
But we really appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's get inside.
Okay.
All right now.